Have we got some more comic talent for you tonight? Gracing the stage this evening for the first time for Red Centre Comedy's Thursday Night Open Mic is Amna Bakhtiar! Read up! Whoa! Read up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I can't believe you pronounced my name correctly. That's very impressive. Well, my name is Amna, and I know it sounds like it's an exotic name, but it's it's just an equivalent of Mary in my culture, so it's not very sexy. But people like to think it's exotic, and it's a pretty simple name to spell. It's Amna, but some people, and not even most, but some people, and I'll be honest, some white people have a hard time getting my name right. And one of those people in Alice Springs happened to be my housemate. So that was a little awkward. He just couldn't get my name right for the longest time. So each time I'd see him, I'd be like, hey Simon, and he'd be like, hey man. And I couldn't figure out if he was saying hey or hey man. So that was actually really clever of him. But then later I found out that his sister actually has a very similar name to mine because she's converted, so I have no idea what his excuse was the whole time. Maybe laziness, I'm not sure. So yeah, probably, right? So, hearing my name said correctly by other people and was just one of the things I really missed when I first moved from Pakistan to Canada a long time ago. Another thing that I really missed was all the amazing food I've grown up eating. Food is a really important part of my culture, and if you're South Asian or Middle Eastern, African, Jewish background, you can relate to this. Food is our top priority. It defines pretty much everything for us. So when we throw a party, there is shitloads of food. Like there is some vegetables, and there is at least 10 different varieties of meat you did not know existed, except pork in Pakistan. You don't get that. And followed by 7 different types of dessert. So it's really important for us, and I think we have so much food because we don't have alcohol, so you got to find other ways to keep yourself happy. And our family honor is very directly correlated to how bloated our guests feel after they have at our house. So as it happens, I was invited to my first party by a white person in Canada, and I was super freaking excited. So I told my family about it. I was like, I'm here, I'm doing my own thing. See, I made the right decision. You guys were wrong. People are getting my name right, they're inviting me over. I'm fitting in, and I'm going to a party, and I show up, and the first thing I see at the house is alcohol. A lot of alcohol. There is wine, beer, spirits, and people are bringing in more alcohol, and there was little to no food, if you want to call it that. So there was, cheese and crackers, hummus, gummy worms? Okay, this was university, but whatever, right? 2 hours into the party, I am hungry and there's no food. And it's starting to dawn on me that maybe the theme is alcohol poisoning. And I was like, well, maybe some white people have a different idea of what's party food. And then it happened a few other times. I'd go to a white person's house for a party and there was very little food. So now when I go to a white person's house, I'm sorry, I keep saying white person or whatever, bear with me. When I go to a Caucasian person's house for a party, I just take my own food with me, and when they look at my food, they're like, "You're so generous, is that part of your culture?" And I'm like, yeah, but I knew there was not going to be any food, so I just brought it. So yeah, it's been working out well. I mean, it's funny that for a group of people that are not that in tune with what's good party food, obesity is on the rise in the West. When are you guys actually eating your food? And why aren't you sharing with the rest of us? Strange. So, butchering exotic names and having a different idea what's party food are 2 differences I've noticed between, I guess, the Western culture and my culture. Another thing I've noticed is that white people seem to be on a different emotional wavelength on some life topics. For example, marital status. That's right up there in my culture with chicken kebab, okay? If you're not married, you're a piece of shit. And if you get divorced, well, I mean, it's maybe, you know, better than getting kidnapped by the Taliban. No, you know what? Maybe getting kidnapped by the Taliban is still better than getting divorced, because at least getting kidnapped wasn't your choice. So as it turns out, I was going through a divorce myself a few years ago, and as it happens in most cases of divorce, it was a hard time, right? It's a hard time. And because of the cultural connotations about it and how it's a source of family shame, I chose to reach out to this white friend of mine. I thought it's not such a big deal for her in her culture, that she'd be supportive and non-judgmental, right? And she said very helpfully, she said, "Oh, Amna, I think you should go to OM. That's really going to help you with your divorce." And I was like, OM? Okay, that sounds like Om, like, you know, something spiritual. New Agey, yeah, I'm on board with that shit, sure. But I was like, yeah, okay, sure, but what's OM? I'll go to this thing. Here's what she said. She said, OM is orgasmic meditation. Okay? Here's where you go meet a bunch of strangers, out of whom someone, with your consent, will mindfully stimulate your clitoris, and that's going to help you with your divorce. I was floored, and not because of the stimulation, by the way. It was just her idea was going to help me process all these painful emotions I was going through. And I'm like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? I was a bit offended, honestly, but then later I thought about it, and I was like, well, you know, I mean, you know, a lot of other times when I've had my clitoris stimulated, otherwise it's been done pretty mindlessly. Okay, you know what? Every time. So then I was like, well, maybe that's a better option than going to a bar.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
So imagine a vegan divorcee going back to visit her meat-loving conservative Muslim family. Yeah, I was like, that's gonna go down really well. They're gonna welcome me with open arms, right? But guess what they actually did? They actually did. I mean, God bless South Asian hospitality. Those people are so freaking hospitable. They'll be nice to anyone, even if you're Osama bin Laden, okay? And speaking of bin Laden, well, you know what? I'm not gonna crack any bin Laden jokes, okay? I'm just gonna cut it here.
Ladies and gentlemen, my favourite line of the whole bit, maybe the white chick was right. That's the best joke I've heard. Yeah, absolutely. Look, we will have some more. Ladies and gentlemen.